Hi everyone, welcome back. I'm Di, and today I'm sharing with you my diary entry for the week of February 25th through March 2nd. Today is Saturday, March 2nd. So today is a pretty gloomy, rainy, cold, and windy day. I am really enjoying the ambiance. It's my favorite type of weather, and so it is a good day today. This week, again, very stressful, but like I said before, it's going to be that way probably until the middle of April, if not the end of. So it's just a bit of the same old, lots of meetings, lots of things to review, lots of work to do. And so, yeah, I was able to get to a little bit of knitting this week. I was able to finish 2 books before the end of the month. And as you know, being that it is the beginning of March Mystery Madness has started. So I've also got all of those responsibilities of, talking to people on the Discord and posting things on Twitter and things like that. But yeah, it's been fun the last 2 days, just seeing what everybody decided to start reading and how people are interpreting our theme and things like that. And so, yeah, I ended up starting with a book that wasn't even on my TBR. So the TBR went up on my channel today because, again, busy. And so it is up in case you're interested to know what I will be trying to read throughout the month of March. And so, yeah, I've got, like I said, a couple books to tell you about that I finished. I'm in the middle of 1 book currently. And then we can talk about my TBR for the Phase Out Your TBR Phase 3 TBR, which Phase Out Your Readathon is hosted by Chris's Corner. I'm going to attempt to take all of those prompts and apply them to reads that I'm doing for March Mystery Madness as well this month. I do not want those prompts to carry over to April because April, as you know, is the Aurelian Magical Readathon, and I always have a lot of things to read for that. And so I really want to try to fit all of the Phase Out Your Readathon or Phase Out Your TBR Readathon prompts to reads that I'm doing this month. So we'll go through that. Then we'll do some knitting, and then we'll wrap it up at the end. So let's get started. So like I said, finished 2 books before the end of the month. The first book I finished was Reckless Magic by Rachel Higginson. This is the first book in the Star-Crossed series. This I have had a copy of on Kindle since 2011. I actually heard about the series on the Needles at the Ready podcast. Kevin talked about this series, I think it was a couple months ago. And I found out that I had the book. When you get those free things from Kindle, you kind of forget about them, right? And I definitely forgot about this one. And so I was like, perfect opportunity for my TBR prompt of heard about on a knitting podcast. And so went ahead and read that one. I really enjoyed it. It didn't take me very long once I actually applied myself to reading. And I had an audiobook copy also, so I was kind of combo reading. Listened to audiobook during lunchtime, read from the ebook at night. It was a really good experience. This one is about a girl who has kind of a history of fainting at school, and then when she wakes up, something catastrophic has happened to the school, and so she ends up being kicked out of all of these schools, and she's in high school. She's only got a little bit more to go, and so she just needs to get through it and graduate. And so she's at a new school. She's trying to get, settled in and everything. She knows that these things that happen to her, she doesn't really have control of. She doesn't know why they happen to her, but she also doesn't know how to prevent things from happening like that. She basically passes out, and then when she wakes up, it's to the point now where she's like, okay, what did I do type of thing. But she's at this new school. People there are kind of strange. And it seems like they all know things that she doesn't. And then it turns out that she actually has magic. And so it kind of follows her journey, figuring all of that out, trying to work, towards staying in this new school, kind of trying to be under the radar, making new friends and things like that. And then, figuring out what to do with the knowledge that she learns as we go through this book. like I said, this one was interesting. I enjoyed it. It was very entertaining. But this book hinges a lot on the fact that our main character does not know certain things. And so you learn them as she learns them throughout the book. And I don't understand why certain things were hidden from our main character, because to me, a lot of the kind of confusion and things that she did could have been avoided if they had just told her up front, hey, blah, 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 blah. Do you know what I mean? But because they keep her in the dark, because they tell her, don't do this, or stay away from this person, or, you know, things like that, without telling her why, it makes her, you know, want to find out, like, things. And so I didn't quite enjoy that part. Plus, about at the 75% mark in this book, she does something, like, amazingly stupid. Like, so bad that when I read that passage and what she did, I rolled my eyes and had to slap my forehead. It was really ridiculous what she did. And, you know, she's a teenager, so yeah, of course she's going to do something dumb. But just reading it on page was just like, really, dude? But nonetheless, I enjoyed the story. Everything definitely, you know, clicked at the very end. Pieces were put into place. And I'm looking forward to seeing what happens in the next one now that all of the pieces have kind of been put into place. And so, yeah, I gave it a 4-star. Really enjoyed it. Don't know why I never tried to pick it up before, because this definitely seems like the type of book that I would have been interested in back in 2011. But yeah, I'm glad that I still enjoyed it now. You know, now my reading tastes have changed quite a bit. There are things that I would have read in 2011 that don't sit well with me now. But this one, I enjoyed. I definitely enjoyed it, and I gave it 4 stars, like I said. So I'll definitely be continuing to that one, but not in March, because it is not like a mystery. At least I don't see it as a mystery. And I don't feel like there are mysterious elements, even though she didn't seem to know certain things. And especially now that she knows more things, I don't know what the mystery would be. I would say this is more romantic-y, kind of a little bit adventurous. And so, yeah, I enjoyed it. The audiobook is also available on the Audible Plus program. So if you have an Audible subscription, it is available for you to listen to for free. So, yeah, really enjoyed that one. And then the last book that I finished before the end of the month was an experiment. So, remember at the beginning of the year, I told you that I wanted to do an experiment and kind of like test certain things out that I normally wouldn't read, because I feel like I've lost my reading tastes. And one of the things that I really feel like my tastes have always been was that I don't enjoy the popular books. I don't enjoy what most people enjoy. And so when I see something being hyped up a lot, I tend to avoid it. But I thought, you know, what the heck? I don't know what I like anymore, or at least I feel like that. I feel like a lot of things that I thought I would like have been really misses for me lately. And so I thought, you know, I'm just gonna test the waters. Test some things out and see if I actually don't enjoy certain things. And so one of the things that I decided to do this year was to take some of the Goodreads Choice Awards winners and read them. At least in the genres that I feel like are my more popular genres to read: mystery, thriller, and YA. And so I put myself on the library hold for a lot of the books that were on those lists. I think I took the top 3 of each category and I put them on a list. And one of the things that was on the list was Check and Mate by Ali Hazelwood. This is for the YA fiction, I think, category. This is a contemporary romance about a girl who used to love playing chess. Her dad played chess competitively. And then something happened between her and her dad. And she lost that love of playing chess. Quit playing chess, didn't think about it, and I've just been going on with her life. Skip forward a few years, and her mom is now sick and can't work. She has 2 teenage sisters that need to be taken care of, and she is the sole provider of her family. And so she's like trying to make ends meet, hasn't thought of chess in years, and then her best friend comes and asks her to play a charity chess competition. And she's real hesitant to do it because, you know, it kind of brings back bad memories for her, especially memories of her dad, which she doesn't want to even think about those things. And so she, you know, tries to avoid playing in the contest, but eventually her friend talks her into it and she goes, and playing that game kind of changes her life. And I don't know how much more I want to tell you because I'm not quite sure how much this summary says. But like I said, it's a young adult contemporary romance that has chess. And so Ali Hazelwood is an author that's been pretty hyped lately, especially with the adult romance genre. I will admit that the adult romance title, I think it's called The Love Hypothesis, didn't sound interesting to me. I don't know, it just didn't sound interesting to me. Plus, I think it was like a Raylo fanfic or something that was what it was based on, and I'm not really into that. So I didn't think it was going to be for me. But this one I thought, okay, it's YA, it has to do with chess. I don't know a lot about chess, but I know, you know, certain things about chess. I mean, I think all of us know a little bit about chess. I was a little bit hesitant with how much chess would be in here, considering chess seems to be a big part of the story. At least that's what I thought going into it. It is, but it's done in a way where I feel like it was entertaining for me and it didn't get too technical. I wasn't bored at all, which I thought I would be bored with how technical a chess game can be, especially when you're talking competitive chess. And it's not something that I've ever like watched or anything like that. So this one had a bunch of things that I was really hesitant about, but like I said, I had put myself on the wait list from the library. It did come through, and I thought, you know, I've got a couple of days left in the month. I'm in that time period where I can either start something early for March Mystery Madness, or I can just read this book and try to get it done before March Mystery Madness starts so I don't have to read it during March. And so I decided to go ahead and read it. And it was a really fast read. I really enjoyed it. I actually found myself thinking about the characters and what they were going to do, the decisions they were going to make, and just trying to think about what was going to happen at like the upcoming tournaments and things. I got more into this book than I thought I would. I really enjoyed it. I ended up giving it 4 stars, and I would be open to reading more Ali Hazelwood. Now, like I said, I don't think the adult romance book that she wrote is for me. I may still try it because I feel like her writing style was really easy for me to get into, but I'm not quite sure if her adult romance genre will work as well for me as the young adult genre would. I do find that in regards to romance titles that I do read, I tend to enjoy the more young adult kind of teen romances because they tend to be cleaner. I don't have as much of an issue with any kind of miscommunication problems. And I think it bothers me more when there's miscommunication between adults than it does in YA or teen stories, because I kind of give them a little bit of leeway because of their ages. But with adults, like, I have no, like, time or patience for that, I guess. And so things like that don't work for me in adult books. But yeah, maybe I'm just not someone who enjoys adult romance stories, and I just enjoy like more pure type cleaner romances with like young adults and teens. Maybe that's it. I always thought that I was somebody that didn't enjoy romance as a genre at all, but I think it's something that I need to hone. So I think for me, as far as with reading this book, it definitely showed me that I can enjoy a romance story. I mean, I kind of knew that I could because I read a lot of romance manga. I can read romance manga. I, again, enjoy more of the teen romance, more young adult romance manga titles than I do the adult manga titles, the adult romance manga titles. And so I think it's just that I don't enjoy adult romance titles or stories. And I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that miscommunication between adults really like ticks me off. And there's like no reason for it. And so, yeah, I feel like that's just a personal thing. And so maybe I should try to explore more young adult or teen romance titles from here out, or at least be more open to reading those types of titles, because I really put the wall up when it comes to like romance. Like, no, except for manga. Like, no romance novels at all, but manga, it's okay. Now I think I'm a little bit more open to reading more young adult romance or like teen romances. And so, yeah, I enjoyed this one a lot, actually. And I was very surprised. So I ended up giving it 4 stars. I was actually talking to my mom about it. My mom reads a lot of romance novels. At least she read a lot of them when I was growing up. Like, you know, Victoria Holt, Debbie Macomber, Laverne Spencer, of course Nora Roberts, right? She was like reading romances all the time when I was growing up. And she still does to this day. And so I thought, you know, I'm going to tell her about this book and see if she's interested. I mean, she is a bookseller, right? So it's good for her to know titles and things. And she'd never heard of this title. And so I was talking to her about it. And she's reading it right now since I borrowed it from the library. We still have it borrowed, so I lent it to her too. And so she's reading that one right now. But yeah, I enjoyed that one a lot more than I thought I was going to. So very eye-opening for me, but that's part of why I want to do this project, is to kind of hone in on things that I have been turning an eye to, or turning a blind eye to, because I thought, okay, for sure, I'm not going to enjoy that. But like I said, I think my tastes have changed drastically. And so, yeah, very surprising. So that was the last book that I finished in February. So that brings me to what am I currently reading? So, library holds again. So I've had this particular book on hold for me since I think October, the beginning of October, late September. And I put it on my to-read list because the season-a-thon, the like holiday readathon that's hosted by Melanie from Completely Melanie, they were doing this one as a group read. So I've had it on hold from the library since then, and it finally got released to me. And that is Find Him Where You Left Him Dead by Kirsten Simmons. This is the first book, I believe, in the Death Games trilogy or series. And so this is a story about a group of friends who had gone to play a game. It seems like it's like a Jumanji-esque type game. And one of them didn't come back. And so it's kind of put a rift in between these friends. They were like inseparable. And then after this happened, they basically didn't talk to each other at all for the last few years. Well, then something happens and each of them kind of have an experience, like a supernatural type experience. And that brings them all together. And they're now back playing the game again. I started reading this one on ebook. I do actually have a copy of the audiobook as well, so I will be listening to some of this during the week during my lunch break just to like combo read and get through it faster. Like I said, it wasn't one that was on my TBR for March Mystery Madness, but it is a mystery, so I am going to count it, but it doesn't count towards the theme. I don't believe, unless something happens during the book that I could tie it to, but we don't have to tie our reads to March Mystery Madness themes or prompts at all. It's a mystery, so it's going to count, and so that's where I'm putting that one. But this one also has a lot of like Japanese references. So there's references to Japanese yokai and supernatural beings and things. And I don't know that more than one of the characters are Japanese. I believe one of the characters is Japanese. I'm not sure if there are more. I know one character is black. But there are definitely Japanese supernatural beings and yokai in this book referenced, to the point where I've gotten to already. I am at 21%. And it's interesting so far. It's a little bit creepy with some of the things that have happened. A little bit grotesque. But I'm interested to see what's going to happen in this book. Other than that, I haven't really heard anybody talk about it. I haven't even like watched the live show that Completely Melanie had, I believe, during the season-a-thon, read-a-thon at the end of last year. I do like to go into my books pretty blind, because I find that, especially with mysteries, if I know too much, it kind of ruins the experience for me. And I also find that with mysteries, sometimes the summary gives away too much. So I try not to read too much of the summary. But yeah, so far, really interesting. The kids are playing the game right now, and I'm looking forward to seeing what's going to happen with that. So that's where I am with that. And other than that, I'm not reading anything else currently at the moment. So I have a lot of things on my TBR for the month. Truthfully, I don't know that I'm going to be able to get through it all. But let's get to my phase out your TBR readathon prompts. So I went ahead and had my daughter play phase 10 for me and pull my prompts. So the phase for round 3 is 4 of a kind and a run. Now, I know I mentioned this to you before. The phases do get pretty big, and so I'm not sure how long I'm going to be able to keep up with this readathon, but I think it's pretty manageable right now. And so anyway, you can see from the picture here that she actually pulled 4 9s for me, which kind of fits really well with our theme for March Mystery Madness. And then she pulled a run of 5, 6, 7, and 8. So I was actually able to match a lot of the things that I was planning to read for March Mystery Madness onto this TBR as well. So that is great. So let me go through with you what I will be reading for the Phase Out Your Readathon Phase 3 prompts. So we'll start with the 4 of a kind, so 4 9s. So she pulled a green 9, and the prompt for that is fire on the cover. And so I thought, oh my gosh, that's going to be the hardest one to figure out what I'm going to read for that, because I thought none of the books I had fire on the cover. Well, she proved me wrong, because she's like, wait. And she comes over and she brings me this. So this is Delicious in Dungeon Volume 1 by Ryoko Kui. This one is published by Yan Press, rated teen. So this is about a bunch of adventurers who are in a dungeon and they have no money and they need food. And so they decide to go ahead and eat the creatures in the dungeon. And so this is about the appetites of these dungeon crawling gourmands. So yeah, in any case, you can see right there that there is a fire because they're cooking this mushroom. Yes, fire on the cover. So thanks, daughter, for pointing that out for me. So saved on that. I do need to read that for the Monochrome Manga Club because that is our next series read. So we'll be reading volumes 1 and 2 of Delicious in Dungeon in the month of March. That is the only kind of mystery reads that I am planning for March, the 2 Monochrome Manga Club series reads, because they can't be avoided. I run the Monochrome Manga Club. I have to read those titles, so therefore they're not mysteries, but I'm still going to read them during the month of March. Blue 9. So Blue 9 was BIPOC Rep. And so Monochrome Manga Club, again, I'm going to choose one of these 2 titles for BIPOC Rep. ID Invaded, Break Broken, art by Yuki Kodama, original story by Otaru Maijo, The Detectives United, also published by Yan Press, rated older teen. So this is about a guy who is in an unfamiliar area and he witnesses a multiple car crash and then comes across a dead body and decides that he is the detective and he must solve the mystery of her death. This is a 3-volume series. I am hoping to read the entirety of this series this month, but I won't read past volume 1 until after the Monochrome Manga Club meeting, just to make sure that I'm only speaking about this volume. But obviously this is Japanese. And then this is also Japanese. Island in a Puddle by Kei Sanbei. Volume 1 published by Kodansha, rated older teens. So this is about a kid who is kind of taking care of his baby sister or kid sister. You can kind of see them here on the cover. Kids in elementary school. Their mom visits home pretty infrequently, and when she does, one time she actually takes them to an amusement park, gives them some cash, and puts them on the Ferris wheel. When they get to the top of the Ferris wheel gets hit by lightning, and when the kids wake up, they wake up to something unexpected. And so I'm really looking forward to reading this. I'm also looking forward to reading this. This is actually a 5-volume series. I don't know that I'll be able to get to the rest of this during the month, but I'm going to try, I think. I really enjoyed Erased by Kei Sanbei, which we also read with the Monochrome Manga Club, and so I'm hoping this will be just as good. And like I said, this is a 3-volume series, so both of these would be considered for BIPOC rep. I have a Wild, so I'm going to use that one for Red 9, which is a book that you've been avoiding. And so for me, again, we're going to go with a Monochrome Manga Club selection. I'm going to go with Volume 5 of Assassination Classroom by Yusei Matsui. This one's published by Viz, rated older teen. So this is about an octopus-like creature who has destroyed part of the moon, has come to Earth, and has said that he will destroy Earth unless he's assassinated. And while he bides his time, he is teaching this group of like misfits, like a class full of misfits. Most of them aren't delinquents, and most of them don't have those types of tendencies. Lots of them are there just because they have trouble learning and just can't get good grades and things like that. And so he teaches them in a way that they can understand things, and he's very thoughtful about the way he teaches them and things like that, all while these kids try to assassinate him. And so we are reading this one from the Monochrome Manga Club. It is a series that I dropped after watching most of the anime because it seems like it's going to get really emotional towards the end. I have never finished the series. I read the first 2 volumes of the manga and never completed that either. And so I've been avoiding this series just because I'm afraid that it's going to get really emotional, and I don't do well with emotional reads. And so, yeah, I'm going to count that for a book I've been avoiding. And then I got another Wild 9, and so we're going to go with Yellow 9, and that's going to be multiple POV. And for this one, I'm going to count the book that I am currently reading, and that is Find Him Where You Left Him Dead by Kristen Simmons. This is told in multiple POVs. We get a chapter from each of the friends' perspectives as we're playing the game, and each chapter is a different person. So I'm going to count that. So that worked out perfectly. So then let's start with our run. We've got a blue 5, and the prompt for that is Low Hopes. And for that one, I'm going to go ahead and put in Club Dead from Charlene Harris. This is the 3rd book in the Suki Stackhouse series. I do need to read this for my Rotating Decks TBR game. This is about a waitress who meets a vampire and then gets kind of sucked into that world. This is a cozy mystery kind of series. I enjoy it. It's entertaining, but it's not the greatest thing ever. I know the series was really hyped, especially with the TV show. I watched the first season of the TV show. I enjoyed it. It was okay. I started watching the 2nd season, and it just wasn't for me, so I dropped it. But I have enjoyed both of the books that I've read so far from this series. I do want to finish this series because I think I have the whole series from library book sales for like 25 cents. But yeah, we'll be getting to that one. So that's Low Hopes. Red 6 is a short book, and so for that one, I'm going to pop in whatever I don't read for the other prompt, Island in a Puddle or ID Invaded, because these are manga and they are very short. Yellow 7, no people on the cover. So for this, I am either going to go with Volume 6 of Assassination Classroom. As you can see, there is only a face, kind of, just the eyeballs and a mouth. And I got to read that for the Monochrome Manga Club. Or I could put in Deja Dead by Kathy Reichs. This is the first book in the Temperance Brennan series, which is the series that the TV show Bones was based on. So I am reading this for the March Mystery Madness as my Janelle pick. Reminds you of Janelle. Janelle did read this book, and so this is what I'm reading for that prompt. So that's what I'm putting for No People on the cover. And then the last prompt that I've got for the Phase Out Your TBR Readathon is a Red 8, and that is a standalone. And so for this one, I'm going to put in The 10th Girl by Sarah Faring. So this is my lowest rated selection for my TBR game. The summary on it escapes me, but in my TBR game video, I did read off the summary for that. I think this one has some kind of like a mythology tie into it, if I'm not mistaken. But this is one of the lowest rated books on my TBR, or my to read list on Goodreads. It's actually the second lowest rated book. So that's what I'm reading for standalone. It's actually the only standalone book that I have on my TBR for the month. And so, yeah, I'm not much of a standalone reader. I read a lot of series. I don't finish a lot of series, but I read a lot of series. So usually when I get a prompt for standalone, it's pretty difficult for me to find something to read. But this worked out well because it was already on my TBR to begin with. So hopefully I won't have to DNF that book. Because I don't think DNFs count for Phase Out Your TBR. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see. But that's all my plans for Phase Out Your TBR, Phase 3. So here's to hoping that I'll be able to finish all of my prompts during the month of March. But I'm really excited. This just gives it a little bit of an extra challenge for the month. Not that I need any more stress considering what's going on with my job. But, you know, can't avoid having a little bit more fun with something that I'm already doing for the month. So, yeah, that's pretty much everything that I have set for myself for the readathons that I'm participating in for the month. And so that brings us to another Yarnie update. Okay, so I have 2 projects to talk to you about this week. I did finally get back to my rainbow ring. So Rainbow Ring is a pattern by Stephen West. It is the garment that I was knitting with my 31 Residents of Haunted Mansion advent calendar from Fangirl Fibers. It was a Halloween yarn advent calendar that I opened during Vlogmas and was knitting them into this sweater. So, reminder that this is what my rainbow ring currently looks like. I have the entirety of the body done, and I also now have one full sleeve done. So this is what I decided. I have 28 days on the sleeve. I did go ahead and try it on, and it is slightly longer than I would like, but that is perfectly fine. I'm very happy with this. I think this is going to look great. I finished it with the I-cord edge 2x2 rib as per the instructions, and so I was here where when I talked to you about this last with my ghosty stitch marker from Stitching the High Notes, and then I just put in the one extra color and then the ribbing. So now I just need to put in my second sleeve. I did not put that on yet because I just finished the cuff on the arm of the other sleeve last night. And so, yeah, slowly chugging along on this. I'm still very happy with it. Like I said, I did put this on to check the arm length, and it's just really squishy. It is really squishy. It's going to be really comfortable, and I'm so looking forward to being able to wear this. I don't foresee that I'm going to have this finished this month, though. So we'll just see how it goes. I'm not going to force myself with anything about this, but I'm still enjoying this project a lot. And so, yeah, I'm very happy to be done with one sleeve. I'm one step closer to being done with this sweater, and I'm really, really enjoying it still. So, yes, very happy with my rainbow ring. Before we finish with the rainbow ring, I should tell you that the main color I'm using is from Yarn Cafe Creations in the Gray Smoke colorway. So this is what I have left currently of my third skein. I don't know. Is this going to be enough? Like for the last sleeve? It would be great if I didn't have to dig into my fourth skein. But I do have a fourth skein just in case. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see how much of this main color I'll need for the rest of my sweater. So that's definitely something I'm looking forward to seeing. I'm really loving this yarn. I'm loving all of the Fangirl Fibers yarn as well. And this has just been a really, really enjoyable project to work on, even though it's taking me a really long time. Okay, and the last project that I am currently working on is my mom's harvest cardigan. This is a bag that she made for me. I don't know that I spotlighted it for you the last time, but this is the same bag that the pajama cardigan was in. This has just a bunch of Disney characters in Santa hats. This is like my large size sweater bag. And this is one of the only bags this size that I have. Considering the 2 big balls of yarn that I'm using for this project, I need a bag this size because I am using the Lion Brand Pound of Love. And those skeins are huge. And so this project would not fit in my normal like sweater size bag. But so far so good. I am chugging quite along with this. With all the intarsia, though, it does make it a little bit more fiddly with trying to get it out of the bag and such. But I have split for the sleeves. So I have my one sleeve here. And then I have this much from the sleeve. And then I was here the last time I talked to you, and so I've done this much. And so now I am done with all of the like front increases, because there was a little bit of increases here on the front still after we split for the sleeves. And so yeah, we do a little bit more increasing here on the front part of the sweater. And now I've done all of that, and I'm just working back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. So because of the amount of yarn that I have for this project, it needs to be half dark charcoal, half gray. So you can see that the front panels here are the dark charcoal, the sleeves will be gray, and the back will also be gray. So not what I intended, I will admit, but you know, it is what it is. And I actually kind of like this like look in the front where it's going to be super dark for most of it, especially because my mom probably wouldn't want me to tell you, but my mom does spill things down the front of whatever she's wearing normally. And so that will definitely help that the panels up here are dark. I had intended to have this whole part be gray and just have the band here be dark, but I think this is going to work out better, especially because, like I said, my mom does tend to spill things down the front of whatever she's wearing, and so that will definitely help with this. But this has been an enjoyable knit. I have never knit the harvest before, and so it was really interesting for me to like do the construction, because you do start with this neckband and then you pick up along the bottom. Harvest is a free pattern from TinCanKnits, in case you didn't know. I am using their app to knit this, and I'm really enjoying using that because, like I had said before, when you pick your size, it like eliminates all the other numbers and just shows you the numbers that you need for the size that you're knitting. It's been really, really helpful. I've really enjoyed it, and I'm really enjoying this project. So yeah, so far so good. I am knitting the size 3X again, just a reminder, and I'm enjoying working with the acrylic actually. The Pound of Love is definitely a much softer acrylic because it's meant for babies. And they didn't have these like darker colors for a long time. And I'm really, really enjoying this. It's going to be a nice wear, I think, also. Easy care, which is what my mom wanted. And yeah, I think she's going to really enjoy this. So working away on that as well. I will say the rainbow ring does take a little bit more concentration for me because there's a lot more decreases, you know, and I've got to make sure that I'm switching out the colors and everything like that. And sometimes at the end of the day, I just want to sit down and knit back and forth and knit back and forth, or even just knit in the round. I haven't actually picked up another project yet. But speaking of knitting in the round, there is a new knit along happening with the Earth Tones girl, Denise. She just started the I Love Reading Books and Sock Knitting Too, or something like that. It has something to do with reading books and sock knitting. Knit along. And so I've been really inspired to try to participate in that. I really want to. None of the socks that I have currently are bookish themed. And so I was thinking of maybe casting on another pair of socks because, like I said, I have a bunch of the Anime Yarn Club colorways, and manga are books too. Manga are books too. And so I thought that would be a nice like thing to work on during the month. I believe it's only a March knit along. I can't remember. I know it started March 1st. And so I've kind of been itching to cast on a bookish related pair of socks. I do have my Harry Potter inspired ones, but I don't know that I want to work on those right now. I think maybe just casting on another pair is a better idea. I definitely have some book themed sock yarns or book themed sock patterns. The Bakery Bears patron only knit along for their advent last year was the Nutcracker socks. It's a pair of colorwork socks, which is something that I haven't done yet. But the Nutcracker is a book, and so that's an option for me. Kay also did a Harry Potter collection. One of her patterns is called the Whispers in the Walls socks, and that is a heavily cabled sock pattern. Dan just finished a pair a couple weeks ago, I think. And it's a pattern that I've definitely been meaning to get to because sometimes I just like that kind of challenge of working cables. I don't know that I have enough concentration for that at the moment because I really need to be like concentrating on what line I'm on and which way to turn the cable and things like that. So maybe that might not be a good idea, but I've got some bookish themed sock yarns as well. So yeah, I definitely want to do something for the cow, but I haven't decided on anything yet. So there's that. I also, in light of what's going on with Bad Wolf Girl Studios pattern being stolen, I don't know if you follow her on Instagram, but there is a pattern being kind of circulated as the Celestial sweater, which is actually Bad Wolf Girl Studios Astraeus sweater. And I kind of want to cast one of those on, her Astraeus sweater, just in kind of like support of her pattern. I've had the Astraeus pattern in my library for a while. I bought it quite a while back. I just haven't done anything with it. And I know I have a Mostly Ghostly on the needles. That's also by Bad Wolf Girl Studios. I know. But I'm on Sleeve Island on that. I'm also on Sleeve Island for the Rainbow Ring. And sometimes just casting on something new is, you know, fun and exciting. So I kind of am wanting to do that as well. So I've got a lot of like energy for knitting at the moment. Like a lot of like energy to want to put into knitting. Not that I actually have to put into knitting, but like I'm dream, what do they call it? Dream knitting projects. Thinking about a lot of projects that I really want to work on, which is something that I haven't had in a long time. And so that's really inspiring and makes me really happy because I'm finding my love again for crafting, and I'm really like wanting to craft, which is great because I used to be somebody that would craft every day. I'd put in at least one row every day, and last year I hardly put in any kind of crafting at all. It just went like straight down the drain. And so I'm really loving that I'm wanting to knit more. I'm wanting to like knit on something every day, even if it's just one row. And so that really makes me happy. And so, yeah, I think that's pretty much all I have to talk to you about today. I think today's episode has gone a bit long. Yeah, it's a bit long. But I did go through a TBR with you. I wrapped up some books. We talked about some knitting. And so, yeah, I'm feeling okay, even though I'm a bit stressed at the moment. But like I said, nothing can be done with that. You just gotta, take it as it comes and move forward. And I'm in a good place today. So I think that's all I can ask for. Let me know down in the comments below what readathons you're participating in the month of March. Are you participating in March Mystery Madness? If so, let me know what book you started March Mystery Madness with. And if you're participating in another readathon, let me know what book you started for that readathon and what readathon you're participating in. I would really love to know. And if nothing else, and you'd just like to let me know that you were here, if you could leave me that rain cloud emoji down in the comments below, that would be greatly appreciated and would really help me out. And that will do it for me today. So I hope you're all doing great. I hope you're all safe and healthy. And until next time, take care and smile always. Bye.